Lately, I've been getting a lot of questions about my corral system here and kind of how I work the animals and how the animals flow through the pens. So I thought today would be a good day to walk through the corrals and show you how all this stuff works, talk about what you kind of need to have and what's really nice to have. That's what we're doing today on Farmer Tyler Ranch. A corral system is pretty much worthless if the animals don't want to come in here or if they're not used to coming in here. So what I've done is I've made it so that when they're out in these two pastures, they have to come in the corral here to get water and shade. The other big thing that I've got going for me here that makes the cows actually want to come in here is the feed bunk. So on days when I'm going to be working cows, the first thing that I have to do is get the cattle into the corral here. Now I'll either do that by moving them in on the side by side, or I might even put some hay up here in the manger. Then it's really easy because they want to come in here. Once they're in the corral, all I have to do is close this gate. And now I've got them. After I've got all the cattle in the big corral here and have closed these gates, I've got them. But I need to get them into the smaller working corral before I can do anything with them. This is where some knowledge of animal behavior starts to come in really handy, and there's a trend here that you're going to notice. So since the cattle came in the corral through this gate, as soon as they get in here and settle down a little bit and start feeling comfortable, once I come in the corral to work them, their automatic response is to leave the corral through the same gate that they came into. So we're using this to our advantage, because as the cattle all retreat to this corner of the corral where they entered, I've actually got them right where I want them, because now I've got them trapped in this corner and I can push them up into this alleyway. Any of you guys that have watched any of the videos of me working cows have seen me do this time and time again, and you see how well it works. So they all want to gather in this corner. When they realize the gate's closed, they know that they can't stay there, so they naturally make a left turn going right into this gate, as long as I'm standing in the right spot, that is. So if things go right, the cattle will run up this alleyway, and this will lead them straight into the working alley. Once everybody gets up into this smaller working corral, I can close this gate, and now we're ready to get started. The next step in the operation is going to be dependent on the specific thing that you're doing that day, but it seems like the majority of the time we need to separate cows away from calves. So again, we're going to take advantage of the principle that cattle like to leave a pen the way that they came in and sort the cattle off through this gate. I've always found it easier to separate the cows away from the calves rather than try to get the calves away from the cows, because the cow's natural instinct is to get out of here, whereas the calf's natural instinct is to kind of stay where the herd is at. So usually what happens is you'll get, the first 10 cows come out real easy, and after that you might get some calves starting to come in with them. But I don't know, for whatever reason, the calves seem happier to stay in here and the cows want out. Once I have the cows or the calves or whatever I happen to be working on in this area isolated and separated from whoever they're with, the next thing that I need to think about doing is getting them in that squeeze chute. So let me show you how I do that. So the sun is screwing up this shot a little bit, but basically it's kind of the same principle we use in the big corral. We get them in this corner, and then we can sweep them around the barn and go back into where the white gate is there. The biggest problem that I have doing this is I got this big water trough entrapment, or I don't know what you want to call this. It's a guard basically to keep them out of the water trough. But anyway, this is in a terrible spot because as the cattle are trying to come up this wall, it just really interrupts the flow. So my idea is to move this water trough to the other end of the corral, and that way I can just sort of sweep them along this wall and there's nothing to block them, get in their way. I really need to do that. After the cows make it around this horribly placed water trough, they will find themselves in this short alley, And when they get down to the end, they have to make a decision. Do I turn left or do I turn around? Now, ideally, when they turn around, they will see this, a person standing here, so hopefully they make the decision to turn left. Once I have the animals in this alleyway, in my mind, I've pretty much already won the battle, because all I have to do is get them down here to the end so that I can close this crowd gate on them. Once the cattle are in the tub here, we again take advantage of their natural instinct to want to turn around and come back out the way they got in here. So as they turn around, they now see a wall and an opening. So I don't know about you, but if I'm a cow trying to get out of here, I'm probably going to go towards the opening. Once the cattle are here in the tub, as they start funneling down the chute, we'll start closing this gate. And you can see this just makes the tub smaller and smaller until finally this is just one alleyway. The last thing that I need to do before I get an animal in the chute here is to move this panel. Now, this is a temporary setup, as you guys could obviously tell, but eventually I will make this permanent. I set this up with panels originally just to see if I like this setup, and I really do. So what you would do is have this panel set like that. Now, the purpose of this is that now the cattle that are out here in this pen can't bother you while you're trying to do what you're doing on the chute. That can really become an issue when you have a calf in here and mom's right there and she doesn't like what you're doing to baby. So having this protection here is really nice. And I have to tell you, I went a lot of years without having this, and it's not fun when you're trying to focus here, but you always gotta constantly watch your back to make sure that nobody has a real big problem with what you're doing. Once the cow is in the alleyway here, what we want her to focus on is the hole there at the end. That's her obvious escape, and that's what's going to make her want to step forward to get out of here. So directing the animal's attention and keeping her from being distracted by maybe seeing something through this panel or through this panel, that is why we go ahead and make these sides solid. That way we can focus her attention where we want her to be looking, and she's not going to be balking at somebody standing here, or maybe she sees a cow over there and thinks she wants to be that way. No. When you have solid sides like this, this focuses her attention straight ahead, and that's what we want her to do. Quick little tangent here now that I just started talking about that. Really anywhere where you see that I have a solid side put up, like this one was obviously put up after the rest of this stuff because I haven't even got a chance to paint it yet. But when you see where I've done that, that means I realized that I needed to refocus a cow's attention. In this gate, for instance, when the cattle would come through here, they could see through these bars and they just wanted to try to get through the gate. They'd be sticking their head through the pipes, trying to jump through. A few of them thought about jumping over, which was interesting. But since we've put this sheet up, now they don't see anything here that interests them. They kind of more naturally want to go this way because they can see through over here. Well, once they're over here, I got them. So once they are in the chute, if you've watched me work cows on video before, it may kind of seem random, but we purposely catch the head first, because you don't want them to go out through the chute, obviously. And you almost do the butt gate simultaneously. So you want to catch the head and do the butt gate almost at the same time, because once they realize that you have their head, their first instinct is to back up. So after you have the head gate locked and the butt gate down, typically the cow will be jumping around in here and they won't settle down until you hit them with the body squeeze. When done properly, you almost want to do all three motions as like one fluid motion. You want to do head, butt, body as fast as you can and get the animal restrained, because when they're not restrained, the odds of them hurting you or themselves are a lot higher than when they are restrained. Now, those of you that have already asked me know that I'm a big proponent of squeeze chutes because they improve your safety, they improve your animal's safety. So that right there to me is worth the cost. But I understand that not everybody is willing to drop you know, 4,000 to 6,000 on a basic chute like this. And if you only have 1 or 2 cows, it probably doesn't pencil out for you. If somebody isn't quite ready to make the plunge and make an investment like this, you can buy just this head gate, and you can get a lot of things done just by locking the head with one of these. In fact, my grandpa went a lot of years without a proper squeeze chute like this, and I even remember as a kid doing a lot of stuff with just a homemade head gate. Pulling calves, giving shots, all that stuff. It can be done, but it's still not something I recommend. I prefer the chute for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason is the body squeeze. Now, yeah, you can restrain an animal and you can get work done just using a head gate. That's absolutely true. But a body squeeze really confines the animal a lot more effectively and gives a calming effect as it squeezes them like that. Once the animal is done here in the chute, they're going to exit the chute and turn left. Now, once they're here, we have a couple of options of what we can do. When the animal is done in the chute, the majority of the time I just want to kick them out and back into the main corral because I'm completely done with them. So when I release them from the chute, this gate will be open, and now they have a clear pathway to get back out to where they want to be. In the rare event that I need to keep an animal in this corral for, usually what it would be is if they're going to need to be doctored again the next day, or maybe I'm keeping a cow and a calf locked in here together and I need to keep them together. In that scenario, I would leave this gate closed, and when I release the animal, or the cow in this case, out of the chute, she could just come back in here, in which case I can keep her in the small corral here. So this brings up another thing that I've done out here that I think is actually one of the bigger improvements to this corral. The way things used to be set up is there was no white gate here. This was just a solid fence. So what that meant is that when you were done working an animal in the chute and you released them, they came right back out into this little corral. So that was bad for 2 reasons. For one, if you were like branding or something like that, I always thought it was kind of dangerous because sometimes they can be a little heated after that happens. And the other thing is that when you're done working them, you've still got them confined in this little space. Now, what I like to do is just minimize the amount of time that we handle them, the amount of time that they're locked in here. So what I didn't like about that is that everybody was locked up for however long the whole operation took. Whereas doing it this way, when you're done with that animal, they're out and you're done with them. Well, that about does it for my corrals. I've still got a lot of work to do out here. I know you guys can tell. We've got still a lot of temporary panels and stuff like that. So I've just been kind of experimenting over the last couple of years of what works and what doesn't. And the ultimate goal being to build a permanent corral that I really like, because once it's here, it's here. Thanks for hanging out in the corrals with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.